Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Zone 10B in Southern California. I'm going to give you guys a little tour of the garden. I must admit though that I haven't planted too much this season. Everything out here, other than the plants that I normally grow, have been because of my wife. I've been a little busy doing other things like trying to maintain these YouTube channels that I'm doing and things like that. So I did want to give you guys a tour since I haven't showed anything of the garden at all this growing season. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so as we're walking into the garden, you can see this side over here has been neglected a little bit. These plants that are growing here are volunteer potato plants, and they continue to come up as long as I keep missing some. Over here is onion and garlic. It looks a little bad. I think the dog got in here and was able to pull up most of the stuff. I hear dogs like pulling things like that up because they don't like the smells. And also you see how low the soil is in there. I have some soil that I bought. I just haven't put it in yet. So I'm going to fix that up a bit and see if I can get those growing a little bit better. Over here in this bed, here are more potato plants, more volunteers. And as I just said, when you don't get them all, they will continue to grow. And all through here, we have squash of some kind of zucchini. I asked my wife which was which, but she couldn't really tell me. So this is what we have. And there's more garlic or zucchini, more potato plants here. And she decided to put another collard green plant there. Got moths hanging out as they're actually wreaking havoc all over the places they usually do. But that's just what happens. So that's what's in this bed. Over here, of course, is composting. So I'm going to open this up. Wow, see all the bugs and everything in there. I'm always surprised at the fact that you can keep putting things in here, but it's never full. It's always getting composted, which is a good thing. It's doing its job. Right here, I have some rosemary here. If you guys have followed the video before, you know that the rosemary was actually in one of the planters that I put further down in the garden. And this is a new plant that we have here that my wife put in, and it's actually doing really, really well. This is a cucumber plant. So there are lots of cucumbers in here, which means it's about time that I get busy and start handling that. So right in here, you have two nice biggest ones there. And there's a couple more down here. So I'm going to take that out. And then back here, there's a big one there. That one looks like it may have needed to come off earlier, but I'll get to that today. And in here is another, if I can get the camera around, right back here is one and another there. So they are the long skinny, well, some of them are long skinny. These right here are a little large and regular. I thought they were the Japanese style cucumbers, but they don't seem to be, I guess. But since I didn't plant them, I don't know. Here's one here that has a little, what looks like maybe a little deformity or something. So, but yeah, I'm going to be taking care of all that. So here are some flowering plants that my wife has had for a minute, and I always have to keep those there, otherwise she gets upset. Here's more zucchini, squash, or something. And right here I started growing some stevia, so that's doing pretty good right there. And this plant back here, I believe that's sage. Now that's the first time it's actually started to look pretty decent, although it needs a little help, but it's there and it's actually not too bad. So as you can see, there's a little maintenance that I need to do. And here more moths are flying around. and they're just all over the place. And that's what's actually giving me the problem that I have is those moths, because they are actually laying their eggs and they are growing. The eggs are hatching and they're actually just tearing up all my plants here. But I guess everything's got to have some food, but I'll have to take care of that. So, and over in this bed here next to the water heater is more squash or zucchini, and you can probably see the bugs flying around here also. So these are growing pretty well, and they are about to actually have something on them. Before she planted this, I had put a couple of sugarcane shoots in there, but they are not going to do anything right now anyway because it's not getting any sun. And of course, I still have my 7-foot tall collard green plant. The collard green that you saw earlier came off of that because I was trying to keep it at a reasonable height so we can actually do something with it. So over here is the lemon verbena plant or tree. It's not doing that great. Part of it has seemed like it's died off, so I'll probably cut this back and just leave the pieces that are actually growing. And over here, my wife has put in a pepper plant, and as you can see here from the leaves, it's being attacked, and it's being attacked pretty well. So they are actually getting their part of the food off of here. And down here down here is what is supposed to be some flowering plants. And I think she plants flowering plants out here a lot of times too, to attract the bees, to help pollinate everything. As a matter of fact, on that cucumber plant, I'm always seeing bees over there. And here is and of course, I always forget the name of this plant. Such a great medicinal plant, but I always forget. It'll come to me. But this is growing so well. It's time to harvest all of this stuff. So I'm actually just in time, or a little bit behind time here. So over here, I believe this is my sweet mint here. It's doing okay. It's not as big as it should be, or I like it to be at this time, but moths have gotten in here too, and you probably can't see, but through here there are a few of the leaves that have been eaten and whatnot, so I gotta deal with that too. And of course, as I'm always saying, I never really take the time or get the time to do it the way I want to, so that's an ongoing thing. I'm working on consistency with pretty much everything in my life, because it's always good to be consistent, but it's always a practice, or I won't say a chore, but always have to practice at it. So in this pot here, this is where I used to have the rosemary, but I moved that to see if it'll grow better elsewhere. So I have more stevia plants over here. My wife put this plant here. This is the Hawaiian flower, and of course I can't think of that name either, but hey, it is what it is. So Pulmeria, that's what that is, a Pulmeria plant. And another stevia plant here, and this is the mint, peppermint, I believe. No, spearmint. This is spearmint here, and that has to be taken care of. It's not looking that great, not the way that I normally like it. The leaves here are a little dark and look like they've been beaten by the sun, and it's always a chore for me to keep that going, because sometimes there's almost too much sun, sometimes, well, not necessarily not enough, but the way my house is set, I get a lot of sun after 10 or 11 or something like that. So now over here is my peppermint plant. Now this plant here has grown really nicely here, and of course you still see some parts here where the leaves have been eaten by the worms and things like that, but I guess, you know, they have to get theirs also. right there. Oh, longevity spinach is the plant name I couldn't think of. And there is a little bit more here. I'm always getting so much, so I just put some out and let them grow wherever. And this actually went to seed, so I think I'm going to collect those and see if I can keep those and see if I can grow it from seed, since I've always had clippings from it. This right here is what I couldn't think of, the longevity plant. I haven't been using too much of it for medicinal purposes because, once again, I'm always running so much. And that's pretty much it. So I will go ahead and get set up and start doing some of the harvesting. And although the sun is about to cross over and make it really hot back here, I may come back later on this evening and do it so that I have some shade back here still. But